Reteaching. Oh, yeah, reteaching. 6.5. One thing. Look what this says. Solve for x. You can check all these problems with your calculator. Once you get an answer for x, plug her back in where it shows x and see if it's equal to the number it shows. So this first one, I am trying to get this x all by itself. If we can get the x by itself, I have to get this square root by itself. So I have to first add my 12. I have 3 square root of 2x is equal to 15. Just joking. 24. Divide by 3. Again, I want to get my root by itself first. Now I have my square root of 2x is equal to 8. Then I have to think, what is the opposite of square rooting something? That's opposite is squaring it. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other. So now one thing I notice is that when I square this is like over 1. So since my denominator is odd, there's only one answer here. So these two cancel each other out. And I have 8 squared is 64. And then I divide by 2 and get x is equal to 32. 32 for this first one. Number 1. If you were troubling with, or had trouble with number 2, same type of thing when I'm looking at this problem. The first thing I want to do is always get my radical, my root, all by itself. So I want to get this by itself before I can do anything else. So I subtract my 4 on both sides, and I have the square root of 25 plus 3x is equal to 5. And whatever I do, I have to think, how can I get rid of the square root? I can square it, and that'd be like 2 over the 1. These two cancel, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I get 25 plus a 3x is equal to 25. Next, I'm going to subtract my 25 on both sides of the equation because I want to get my x by itself. If 3x is equal to 0, 0. Divide by 3, x is equal to 0. Again, once you get that answer, you could plug that back in to see if that's what the same problem had up there. You can always check your work in math. Okay, man. Next one. Same type of thing kind of here. Even though I don't have a root, the first thing I want to do is try to get my fraction exponent, my exponent right here, all by itself. So I'm going to first subtract my 10. Subtract my 10. I have negative 2x, because subtraction is like a negative. It's equal to negative 14. Divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. Now I have the x plus 8 to the 1/3 power is equal to 7. So again, my thinking process here is how do I get rid of that 1/3 power? Remember, a power to a power, you would multiply. So if I raise this side to the 3rd power, or 3 over 1, when I multiply 3 over 1 times 1/3, those two will cancel. So whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. This I have 3 over 1. Again, my denominator is odd, so I only will have one answer here. There's only one answer. So these two will cancel when I multiply power to a power, they're gone. I just have my x plus 8 over here, and I do 7 raised to the 3rd power, and that is 343. So now I just have to solve for x. I'm going to subtract 8, and get x is equal to 336. My last one for reteaching of 6.5. Whoa, did you see that? Do you see my little trickery? So here's my problem. My fraction root is already by itself. So I have to try to think, what power should I raise this to? What power should I raise this side to right here in order to cancel out that 4/3 power? So again, remember, when you multiply by the reciprocal, when you multiply two fractions and the reciprocals, it will multiply to be 1. So that cancels out. So I need to multiply this side by 3/4. Whenever I do to one side, I have to multiply the other side by 3/4. So when I do this power to a power, 4/3 times 3/4, that will cancel each other out. So I'm just left with 2x plus 6 on this side is equal to. Now here's the kicker, guys. Right here, so far we've been solving problems when I solve it, the denominator was odd. This now my denominator is even. That means I could have two answers. So if I do 81 to the 3/4 power in my calculator, I need to have a positive and negative 27 because I have an even denominator. Even denominator, you have two answers. Why is that again? Just a quick little review. Because if I solve something like this, x squared is equal to, I don't know, 16, let's say. And you're like, what should I multiply this by? This is like to the 1/2 power. This is to the 1/2 power. Even denominator right here. This is where you'd have to have x is equal to positive or negative 4. Positive or negative. Those even denominators. Why? Because if you look back at this problem right here, and I would look and it says, x squared. So if I have x squared, then that would be like 4 squared would be 16, or else negative 4 squared equals 16. That's why we have two answers. Whenever we have an even denominator, we have two answers. So getting back to our problem, we have two answers here, so I'm going to split it up to two separate equations. Positive 27. Negative 27. So for both problems, I'm subtracting 6 first. I'm just going to get two different answers. So I have 2x is equal to 21. I have 2x is equal to negative 33. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. I get x is equal to 10.5. I get x is equal to negative 16.5. Again, remember for all of these problems, for every single one, once you get your answer, I'm going to try to do a little lightsaber action. Whenever you get your answer, like so, or like so, always plug it back into this x right here. So if you were wondering what I'm talking about, this x right here. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, do 10.5 times 2, add 6, take that number, raise it to the 4/3 power, see if you get 81. Do negative 16.5 times 2 plus 6, raised to the 4/3 power, see if you get 81. You should, because we did it all right, because we're awesome like that. Okay, those are the 4 questions that help you with 6.5 reteaching. Have a great one, and I do mean great.